What's going on, boxing fans? SGK23 Tv network. This is the Sweet Science Boxing Show, and I am your host for the show. When it comes to boxing, it's always Rico TD. So, first of all, thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Let me know what's going on with you guys, all the boxing fans, and let me know if you guys want me to keep going with the Sweet Science Boxing Show as far as content weekly. Okay, outside of the sneaker, outside of fashion, outside of business. But let's get at the topic at hand and not waste too much time, because I always freestyle these things as far as information, interviews, looking at YouTube videos, this, that, and the other. So we're going to get right into it in regards to ERROL SPENCE. We're going to get right into it in regards to Keith Thurman, his injury, a few fights, things that are popping in the boxing world, but mostly a lot of talk in regards of Keith Thurman doesn't want nothing to do with ERROL Spence type of commentary that's going on YouTube. And I'm gonna hashtag this boxing ego as well, because I frux, that's not a cuss word, all right, heavy with ego. He holds it down when it comes to the boxing world. He actually threw me a wrench from a different page. This is custom if you do watch this, Ego. I agree with pretty much everything Ego has to say, and everybody else, 80%, 70% as far as Thurman and ERROL Spence. Here's the only thing that I have that I kind of would like to debate the argument in regards to Keith Thurman doesn't want no smoke, doesn't want no beef, doesn't want no part of ERROL Spence. Nobody really in the welterweight does this, that, and the other. Number one, having your eye socket broken is damaging for your career. Let me elaborate. Meaning, I think Brooks would have beat ERROL Spence if that injury didn't happen again. It's a very messed up injury when you have your eye socket broken. They have to go through your nose, fix it, put a plate, this, that, and the other. Long story short, meaning you're always going to have that in a fight where that's going to be something cautious. It's in the back of your head, and it's always going to keep getting broken again if you get hit hard enough. Okay, now let's get to Keith Thurman. Coming off injury, he needs to rehabilitate. He needs to get back in the groove. Of course, he's not going to get in there with ERROL Spence. He's not going to get in there with Danny Garcia. He's not going to get in there with Sean Porter, X, Y, and Z. And that's just normal. That's just how it should be. To Ego and his videos, I can guarantee you Keith Thurman and ERROL Spence will fight in less than 18 months. I can guarantee you that. As long as everything falls how it should be. If ERROL Spence gets beat a few times, a couple times before, things could change. But I guarantee you Keith Thurman is not gonna back out of a ERROL Spence, probably a pay-per-view jump off, let it build up a little bit more type of event. Number one. Number two, I think ERROL Spence hasn't earned it the long way, pause, like Keith Thurman has, as far as opposition, opponents, fights, not ducking anybody. So I do think that Keith Thurman does have a little bit of leeway, a little bit of privilege to say, you know what, before me and ERROL Spence get in the ring, I think he needs to do a little something more to get on my level. Facts. Meaning, ERROL Spence can fight Danny Garcia. He can fight Sean Porter. He could fight numerous guys that can kind of put him to where Keith Thurman has to fight him, or you are ducking him now. At this moment right now, Keith Thurman is coming off injury, so there's really no ducking to me and no contradicting in the ES News Fight Hype interviews. He's coming off injury. When you have surgery on your elbow, the jab is going to be the most the tool that is mostly going to be damaged by an elbow injury, because it pops, it snaps when you pop it out. Pause. Just like a shoulder, a rotator cuff. I've had that injury. Free weights, your back, your traps, upper chest. It pops every time you go up and down. Same with an elbow injury, and the one that really gets it the hardest, pause, is the jab. Because when you snap it, I have it. When you snap it, it just pops, and it pops when you bring it back, and it pops every time. So off an injury like that, obviously he's not going to come in right off the gate and fight even a Danny Garcia rematch or nothing like that. He's going to have to, he's been off for close to 2 years. So he's going to have to come back, warm up per se, you know what I'm saying? Get that warm up per se type of fight. See what's next for him. See what happens with ERROL Spence, right? He's got the fight in January with Lamont Peterson. I think Lamont Peterson has a good chance of winning the fight if he knows what he's doing. I think Keith Thurman is a lot more diverse than ERROL Spence Jr. as far as when you talk one-dimensional type of situation, right? And your man Troy can verify that. High guard, right? And just very fundamentally sound. Probably one of the superstars for the next 10 years. But the work that you have to put in is kind of what Keith Thurman is alluding to in that interview that Ego was talking about. Meaning, I think in this next 2 years, while Keith Thurman gets back in the ring, gets the rust out the way, and goes on to probably rematch Danny, maybe get Sean Porter a rematch, maybe, who knows, Lamont Peterson, maybe somebody goes up, who knows. Then, if ERROL Spence walks the walk like he talks the talk, then he can get on that level with Keith Thurman and make the fight happen. And then we can say, all right, Keith, you're ducking. You don't want no parts of ERROL Spence. I think it's a little early to say that, because when you look at it as a whole, as a business, yeah, the business is always going to be involved. And I get, don't compare yourself to Floyd and things of that nature. I understand that. I think he's comparing the situation and the business aspects and how you got to earn your stripes in boxing. Meaning, I think Keith Thurman feels that ERROL Spence name been popping as far as one of the top dogs for 2 years. Keith Thurman name been popping for about 6 or 7. So I get his demeanor of talking as far as, all right, well, let me see you beat Sean Porter. Let me see you beat Danny Garcia. Let me see you beat Terrence Crawford. Let's make that fight happen. Let's see what happens with Lamont Peterson. And after that, let's see you get a mega fight, quote unquote, mega fight, meaning fight one of these top tier, top 10 guys. And then there's no way for me to duck the conversation, the fight, to entertain the fight, the business side, whatever. You dig what I'm saying? So once again, of course it's a great fight, you know, but once again, I think on both parties, the business aspect is in there, meaning you got Keith Thurman off of injury, coming back. He's going to have to get the rust off. He might have the rust off, pause, then get a fight and look well. Probably a rematch or something. Maybe not. Who knows, right? In the meantime, ERROL Spence is doing his thing. Hopefully he keeps climbing to the same status as Keith Thurman would be, because I don't think he's on the same status as far as the name ringing. The last 2 years, maybe 3, okay. Keith Thurman, the last 6, 7. It's a difference. And then the business, the money would make a lot more sense. Of course, Keith Thurman is not jumping in a ring with the shoulder injury, rehab, all that, with Danny Garcia, with Keith, with any of these guys. You understand? He's going to have to get that rust back and feel comfortable and not be scared going back to Kell Brooks. Once you have that type of injury, which is not like a shoulder injury, that messes you up, man, because you're careful of that every time, every fight. Your eye socket gets broken, you know that if it's a fact that if you get hit in the eye socket that's been broken before, if you get hit in that eye socket again hard enough, it's gonna break again, and another injury, another surgery, rehab, etc., etc. So once again, at the end of the day, this is a great fight. ERROL Spence is a great talent. I think he's a little bit overrated when it comes to media news and boxing news and things of that nature. Once again, we go back to the Kell Brooks fight. That was a stupendous performance, but the eye socket. Without an eye socket injury, I think Kell Brooks would have beat ERROL Spence. Back to Keith Thurman and ERROL Spence, right? Keith Thurman, before the injury, just got done wiping out Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, right? Etc., etc. He hasn't ducked anybody. He hasn't not wanted to, I got that, I'll let it go type of mind state. So once again, I don't really feel what Ego was talking about. And I mentioned Ego because, once again, I frux with Ego. That's F-R-U-X. Heavy. Because he knows his boxing. I box, etc., etc. This is customs, by the way. If you do listen to this, Ego, you know who I am. I think that what Keith Thurman is saying is, let me get the rust off. Let me get back in position, number one. Let me get back in position. I might have to get Danny or Porter out the way to kind of clear everybody's mind. Let me get back in position. But at the same time, hold up. You haven't put in the work that I have. In the ring, outside the ring, business-wise, name-wise, etc., etc. Again, we can talk about ERROL Spence, heavy name, prospect, TMT, this, that, and the other, in the last 2-3 years. Keith Thurman been popping as far as the name for the last 7 years. Supposed to fight Floyd Mayweather at one time. This is like 5-6 years ago. So what I think Keith Thurman is saying is maybe, Spence, after Lamont Peterson, get Danny Garcia out the way, get Porter out the way, maybe you and Crawford, and if you win, then I have to get down with you. I think that's what Keith Thurman is alluding to. So I give Keith Thurman the benefit of the doubt. I give Keith Thurman the edge, the A-side edge. Yes, the A-side edge. If there was an A and B side and Keith Thurman and ERROL Spence Jr. fought tomorrow, Keith Thurman would be the A-side. I get it. Don't compare yourself to Floyd, Sugar Shane Mosley, all that. I get it. But if it was to happen tomorrow, Keith Thurman would be the A-side. That's my opinion. Okay, so once again, we got Thurman coming back. So hold off on Thurman. You're not going to see that for at least 14 months minimum if things work out how they should. You got ERROL, Lamont Peterson in January, so that's a good look. Sean Porter is in the mix. Danny Garcia wants it back. That's my TMT piece for life. We got to represent. So let's see what happens, and let me know what you guys think in regards to this topic. It's basically Keith Thurman, ERROL Spence. Is Keith Thurman ducking? Is he getting things right? Is he just positioning himself how he should? And that's just the end of it. Very, very simple. And the Sweet Science Show is back. It's always been here. The money bets will come back, but I need you guys' feedback. I need you guys' comment. I need you guys to like and share, because what that does when you like and share the actual video, the commentating, whatever's going on, more people hear about it. And the more people that hear about it, if more people are interested, then I'll bring more stuff, more news to you guys. Live events. I'm not far from the TMT gym right now. I'm outside, about 3 blocks away. So once again, Keith Thurman, ERROL Spence, what do you guys think? Boxing Ego, shout out. I frux with him heavy, his brand. And this is the Sweet Science Show, SGK23 TV network. Peace.